of our Constitution, which we have sworn to uphold, is that we would ensure a secure and safe environment for our people to live and work in peace, that we will provide just and fair institutions, that we will not permit or encourage discrimination on the grounds of race, gender, beliefs, or other parochial considerations, that we will build a nation where no one is oppressed and where no one is left behind. These are the standards to which must hold our leadership. We must not permit our leaders the easy but dangerous rhetoric of blaming our social and economic conditions on our coming together.
You're all aware that there have been loud and sometimes hostile agitations by young people in the southeast calling for secession from Nigeria. And then there was the recent ultimatum issued by a group of young people, also from the north, asking all persons of Southeast origin living in the north to leave by October 1st this year. Both of these expressions and agitations from both sides have been attended with some controversial and very hateful language, including patently illegal and violence-inducing remarks. I firmly believe that we ought to address these agitations and proclamations urgently and decisively.
Nigeria right now, if I can get it right, what is happening in Nigeria now, there's no difference from what is happening before. And let me say it again, the people are not what's the, like I said, these agitations and everything, and I listen to Jaffa when he says every side is crying for marginalization. That is why the continued call for restructuring of the Nigerian state is imminent, that we sit down and discuss as family how we can continue to live and live.
You keep talking about restructuring. Can you hear me? You keep talking about restructuring. We're talking about referendum. You asked about the referendum, and while you get to that, let me make sure that we understand one thing.
But Doctor, really, at this juncture, really, I may subscribe to what Governor Peter Obi was saying, because there is a process for everything. If you are talking about referendum, it has to go through the National Assembly in an orderly manner, in a diplomatic manner.
No, that's not correct. That's not correct. Okay?
I've not told my wife. I'm telling you this. Yesterday she was telling me something and I walked away. She didn't know why I walked away. I was battling between telling her or not telling her. Somebody sent me a message and called me on phone and said, "Are you alone?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "I want to talk to you." I said, "What is it?" He said, "There's a plan to send Fulani headsmen after you." I said, "After who?" He said, "After me." I said, "Okay." He said, "Why are you saying okay?" "I'm telling you to be careful." I said, "Careful of what?" He said, "They are going to just run into the road like headsmen, cause confusion. While your security men are trying to clear them, and you come out, they open fire." I said, "Okay." After about a week, after 2 weeks, he called me. He said, "Please, if they don't do that, they might bring them to come around church premises." I said, "It's okay." "Are you the one they're after?" "It's me." I said, "It's okay." And I told my people, I said, "Any Fulani man you see around you, kill him." Yesterday she was talking, I just kept quiet, because women, there are things you don't tell them. And I've told them in the church here, around these premises, that any Fulani man that just entered by mistake, I want to protect, kill him, kill him. Cut his head. If they are busy killing Christians and nothing is happening, we will kill them and nothing will happen. I said, I'm not going to talk this year, so let me not talk. Am I talking to somebody here? Apostle, why are you saying they should kill somebody? Didn't David kill Goliath? Was that spiritual? Many people in Kaduna are now widows. Many people are now fatherless. Many are orphans. Because some people think they own power. Kill them. Am I talking to somebody here? Are we Christians? Yes. Are we believers? Yes. You can't be widows. You can't be widowers. You can't be because of some devilish people that say they have a religion. Am I communicating? Now they are shouting, Biafra want to go, Biafra want to go. Why would they want to go when you think that the North own the country? Every security operative, every position is for North. Very soon, South will start their own too and say they want to go. So let's leave your cattle for you. We have lawyers here. And we have some lawyers in the crowd. There's a lawyer here. 212 people in Kaduna are dead. Nobody is prosecuted. Nobody is prosecuted. Not one. Rivers State election, few people died. Now there's a panel of inquiry. Because it's South. In a nation, in a state where 50 people died, they declare a state of emergency. 202 people died. Then one short devil that calls himself a governor is moving about and no state of emergency. They caught a Boko Haram member. Before we woke up, they say he has escaped. Escaped! And Biafran agitator are still in prison till now. They are not escaped. But Boko Haram member escaped. Somebody that even 1,000 soldiers should surround. Handcuff. He escaped with handcuff. And leg and hand. And he escaped. You are talking to children. Am I communicating? Hear me? Your life is preserved. Your children are preserved. Please tell any of them in Kaduna that I said so. They come close to your church, kill them. Is it this place now that somebody will come and say want to kill somebody? We will kill you on the spot. Cut off your head and use it for offering. When I see widow, I meet these people. I see the women. I see them cry. If you see my anger, I see them cry. I see these people talk to me. One, now it's time to pay school fees now. I've got messages from them. 3 of the young ladies in Kaduna, they killed their parents in this uprising. I've got to send money to their account for their school fees. You think I'm happy about that? But this is another extra burden on me that is supposed to be avoided. But my conscience will not allow me to avoid it because their father was a pastor. The pastor was killed. Nobody was arrested. Am I communicating? I've said this before. It is the rulers of the states and the country are the men that hold the mic. If you provoke them, they can. You know how many youth I can talk to now? There'll be a riot in this town. So I pay those money and I sit back and my heart is boiling. I'm not boiling that I'm giving. I'm boiling that a devil took a life that you are now. It does not become a burden, a part of the burden I live with daily. You've got to pay rent, you've got to pay school fees, they have to feed, there are issues, they have to call you because you are not their father. Because somebody took their father at the age of 45. Enter the place, cut off the man's head. The woman, a pastor, a redeemed female pastor died in Abuja. They butchered her. They know the streets, they know the area. Normally what the police do when there's an issue, they pick everybody in that area. They call them suspects. Not one was arrested. They say we are looking into it. People died in Enugu, we are looking into it. And somebody say, how can a man of God be saying that they should kill people? Kill them! We were about to open a church in one place. I'm not going to mention the place because of TV. And a young boy came. He said to him that until they said to him they can't open church. And the pastors came to tell me. I said, until they said to him, say yes, they can't open church. Said to him, what? Is his land? He said, no, that no church succeed there. That he is the one they must come and settle. And I called 5 boys. I said, take a car. Beat him. Put him in the boot. Beat him, put him in the boot and bring him. They beat him, put him in the boot, and they brought him. I said, you say you own the land? Are you government? You own which land? They can't plant church because of you? His grammar was even stuttering. I said, you are even uneducated. I said to him, we will keep you here, and that church will grow. We will keep you here. Go and tell anybody we kept you here. He started begging. I said, on one condition, you will be member of that church. You will sit down in front. What nonsense. You have a Nigerian passport. I have a Nigerian passport. What makes you more superior than me? Rubbish. Before they went there, I made sure I told the boys. I said, go to the police, make a complaint that you are going to bring a suspect so that the beating will be legal. So the boys, the policeman said, sorry. They told the police the boys are armed. They are this. You can't go and get them. Can we go and get them for you? The police was happy. You made our job easier. Go and bring them. And I said that you are going beat him. Am I talking to somebody here? He's quiet, humble. Now, humble. You think you're arrogant? Amen. So I don't want you to be a Christian that will be fearful. Stop. Don't be fearful. They open their eyes, open your eye. I remember when I was SUG president in school, I put something on the place I was staying. Nobody came. Beware of snakes. I no get snake. I just put them there. Nobody. People call me from gate. You there? I was waiting. Say snake. I said no. I go call them enter now. I go call them. Come inside. They said no. Come. You come outside. They said where are the snakes? I said they're everywhere. Everywhere. On the road, on the fence. Everybody was shaking. When they leave, I will laugh. When court boys were busting people's houses, they were, snake. You are not a chicken.
Led to the death of more than 1 million people, mostly from hunger. And still today, there are renewed calls for a Biafran state, as the BBC's Tommy Oladipo reports.
Take my bullet when I die, I will Biafra.
Recalling their days on the front line. They were young men when they fought against Nigeria for the breakaway state of Biafra. But their songs are not the only reminders of the brutality of the war. Patrick Adiole survived a shell attack.
When I woke up,
I got up and tried to walk, he says. I moved one leg, but realized I couldn't move the other. The Nigerians were stronger in battle, and Biafra eventually surrendered in 1970. The fighting ended, but the idea of Biafra really didn't. A new generation that did not experience the war is renewing the calls to leave Nigeria. And a leader has emerged. 2 years ago, Nnamdi Kanu was arrested for his separatist rhetoric, but his detention only boosted his popularity. He's now out on bail, but remains defiant.
basic human development, basic economic development, basic social development can no longer be attained for the simple reason that there exists in the polity mutual suspicion, mutual hatred, mutual resentment. So the best thing for us to do is to separate.
He's calling for a referendum on Biafran independence, but it's hard to know just how much support there currently is for that.
If we actually talked to our grandparents, if we actually saw what they actually went through, the hunger and everything, I don't think we want to go down that lane again.
We want Biafra.
We need change for once.
We want Biafra.
We need liberation.
No employment.
People are very, very unhappy. Nobody's happy in this country. Things are so tough for everybody. So if we have a smaller entity where we can assess things that are available for all, I think it's going to be better.
The government has insisted it will not entertain any calls for secession. Igbo leaders have also called for a united Nigeria where there's equality.
We are marching to the front.
As the conversation continues, it's clear the country needs to agree on a way forward to keep the dark past from crippling another generation. Tomi Oladipo, BBC News, southeastern Nigeria.
Well, hundreds of thousands of people were affected by the war. Many of them were young children at the time. I caught up with Philip Effiong Jr., who is the son of the Vice President of Biafra, Philip Effiong. I started by asking him what he remembers most about the war.
I remember the planes bombing. That's the one thing that stands out. The planes bombing, having to run away from them. I remember Enugu being shelled. And I remember clearly I was playing with my brothers and we thought it was thunder at first. Then we realized that it was shells were landing and, the movements were just constant. I think we must have lived in at least 5 different cities or towns during the war.
Do you think the wider world had an inkling of what was happening inside Biafra?
Most of the outside world didn't. Some did, and you've got to give credit to places like Ireland. The church, made that possible. The Catholic Church has had a long philanthropic tradition, so that helped spread the word.
Do you think Nigeria or Nigerians have learned their lessons from the Biafran War?
No, absolutely not. We're perhaps more divided than we ever were. I mean, first of all, the war wasn't about unity, but it even divided us more. To this day, people can talk about, having friends from different ethnic groups. So when you look at things like elections, for instance, or the fact that if I went and lived in a different state, there'd be restrictions in the kinds of positions I could hold. You find out that no, the concept of unity has not actually been realized.
Do you think now is the right time for Biafrans to be allowed to set up their own state?
Well, first of all, I don't have the details. I've followed them a little bit. I think there's something fundamentally wrong with their approach. One being the fact that they make it an Igbo problem. First of all, they've bought into the propaganda that the enemy tried to sell. And that propaganda was that, these Igbo people are out to take over Nigeria and dominate the minorities that live around them. They're evil people and they're trying to disunite us. And to say this was an Igbo, or for people to make it out as if it's an Igbo issue, buys into that propaganda. So it wasn't, of course. Minorities were extremely involved, died, suffered, played major roles. So that's one problem with
Biafra is a call for referendum. Those who talk about violence, those who talk about bloodshed, those who talk about confusion, is that if you have a problem and you are talking quietly and peacefully, nobody listens to you unless you begin to blow up things and make trouble.
Everything racial, everything ethnic, and we come to the table and work.
If indeed we are Nigerians, then we must come to the table and allow every segment of this country a sense of belonging, so that these agitations will be passed.
Nigerians don't see the opportunities that are bound.
Somebody saying that I want to be on my own. Somebody saying you must go on your own. Please take it easy. Our youth, please take it easy. Our elders, please take it easy. I think we are better.
How many times have you heard that people who are resident anywhere went to burn down the mosque? But at one time they will come to burn down the conditions where you are. When we are merely expressing ourselves as provided under the Constitution the right of freedom of worship. From 1970 to the present, a generation of Nigerians who were born did not know we had a civil war. And I know a lot of young people who do not know Nigeria fought the war. This policy of being an ostrich and not addressing issues is counterproductive. If you lived in America, you had the Vietnam War, which happened at the same time as the Nigerian Civil War. You had the Korean War, you had the First World War, you had the Second World War, you have all kinds of wars. And they talk about it all the time. If you watch the Discovery Channel, you can see all the wars in the world. And the reason they televise these wars is so that you can learn from the mistakes of others, so that you do not become a fool and make the same mistakes and fight again.
If you don't want us to express ourselves by talking about Biafra, are you calling for war? Biafra is not a call for war. It is only blackmailers that say that Biafra is a call for war. That's your head up. They were courage. That's your hip up. I'm on the APC. I'm a leader of APC. And we will say it in the gathering. I want you need to war. Biafra is a call for referendum. Nothing more, nothing less. And how dare Buhari say that he will not abide by the need to call for a referendum? If you call for a referendum today, and those who are in support of Biafra do not win by at least 90%, our commission starts.
So here we are 50 years later, talking about something that could have been avoided if the federal government at the time understood the value of history. So one, we erased the Civil War from our consciousness. So a generation of people do not know we fought the war or why we fought the war. They say the Igbos were marginalized, right? They fought the war, they lost. Today, they are the most industrious people in the country today. They are the richest Nigerians in the country today. They're one of the most educated people in Nigeria today. Yet, they feel marginalized. If you compare the Igbo man to the other sections of the society, you would say the Igbos are very privileged because of what they have. Yet, a generation of Igbos say they are marginalized and they want to secede and they want a nation. Well, yes, a young generation of people who have never seen bloodshed, war, destruction, people being killed, amputated, families being divided, sure they can think like that. But what have we done as a nation to educate them about the destruction of war? Absolutely nothing. We do not teach this in our history books. We do not tell our children what war is all about. It's easy to talk about war. How many people have carried a gun, an AK-47, a machine gun, a machete? How many people have carried a gun? How many people have used a gun? How many people have fired a shot? How many people? Those who talk about war, those who talk about bloodshed, those who talk about confusion, have never carried a gun. So how do they know how people die?
Referendum is simply to put a box to those in support, yes. Those who are against, no. Put the two boxes. Buhari Sayegbe. Why is it difficult for the elites to join up? So that they may have Nigeria here again. Because Nigeria is sick beyond limit. Nigeria is the only country in the world where every single project that is put in government is put with a plan to steal some money. That is the truth. Third mainland bridge, third Niger bridge, every year the GA second Niger bridge, Obasanjo second Niger bridge, Yar'Adua second Niger bridge, Jonathan second Niger bridge, Buhari second Niger bridge. Second Niger bridge is
Releasing blood, and yet here we are debating a subject that we as a nation should understand. The educational system does not teach it, and our people do not understand it, and the federal government of Nigeria do not recognize it. And so my position is different. If the federal government do not recognize a fundamental problem in our educational system, a fundamental problem on how television is viewed across the country, then we have a fundamental problem.
So what we are saying in summary is that it is not true that the laws of Nigeria do not give us space to agitate for our rights as a people. Go and see every section of the Constitution that provides for our fundamental human rights. We have never exhausted any of it. But the truth of the Nigeria is that it is the individuals who are running the Nigerian state, who are angry, who don't like Igbo people to develop, that are suppressing it. Today they are saying that the trailers in Apapa are making life difficult in Apapa, correct? How did that come about? When Obasanjo stopped the importation of textiles from Port Harcourt Wharf, everybody is now forced to go to Lagos. Port Harcourt Wharf is empty. If you allow those people who are importing through Lagos to all pass through Port Harcourt and the Calabar and the Warri, you wouldn't have that congestion in Lagos. They're making it seem as if solving the gridlock in Lagos requires rocket science. It's not. There is suppression of business interests aimed at suffocating Indigo. And we must be bold to address it. Because unless we do so, we do not know.
And we must address the problem at the source. What is the problem? We are the problem. It could be Biafra today, it could be South-South tomorrow, it could be North-East the other day. It doesn't matter. The problem is we are not addressing the problem that unites or divides us. And this must be addressed. Our educational system is one of the worst I've ever seen in anywhere in the world. It is terrible. Our policy on information makes no sense whatsoever. And here we are talking about an impending crisis.
Today, a lot of people are happy celebrating that Dangote is the richest man in the world. He's not richest in nothing. When you are given a monopoly to import cement, and the Beto is stopped for many years so that only you will have a leeway, and then you import the whole flour, and then you import all the sugar, and then you import all the salt, and they stop and they give you a waiver. Even if it's a moron, you will be the richest man in Africa. So all the monopoly legislation that is in Nigeria, we must fight against it in the spirit of Biafra. And we must work to take advantage of it. Because the truth remains that we have a voracious appetite for education, we have a voracious appetite for entrepreneurship, and we are strong believers in the right of our women. Anytime there is a suppression in the right of women, Ndibu are the worst victims, because we have the largest army of educated women across this country. We must be in the forefront of every agitation to fight against, to suppress women's rights. Our women should not be like Buhari's wife. Their position is not in the kitchen.
The problem today in Nigeria, Mr. President, is that if you have a problem and you are talking quietly and peacefully, nobody listens to you unless you begin to blow up things and make trouble. That is why you see every section of this country, people are trying to show their capacity to self-destruct, as if that in any way helps in improving their lot. We must, as a country, begin to listen to people when they are not creating problems. That is part of what we are not doing. I am from Rivers State, I'm from Ogoni. My own people, we have been agitating for years, but our agitation has always been peaceful. It is time that we give the peaceful agitators some attention so that everybody does not have to create problems before we can discuss their issues in this country. I want to thank all those that have supported this motion, but to say that more important than what we say here in the Senate is what we do in our different constituencies and states, is what we do to give all Nigerians a sense of belonging. I think that that is a foundation on which a stronger, more prosperous, and more successful union of all Nigerians will be built. I condemn in very, very clear terms any action by any group or section of our country that tends to limit the rights of other Nigerians, whether in that their own section of the country or in any other section of the country. No Nigerian, whether from the southeast or from the north or from the west or from the south-south, should be allowed to do anything that threatens the rights of other Nigerians to live peacefully in every part of this country. That is where we should stand as a nation, and that is where I stand as a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
That's who are qualified to be president. And in case you forget, because I will close. one commits an offense if there is a law written down clearly published. Show me any law that says you cannot hang a Biafran flag in Nigeria and that will be guilty. Show me any law. Nowhere. So they have the right. So is there a law against the color or the design or the distance? Supposing you make your car the Biafran flag, would they arrest the car? Supposing you make your house the Biafran flag, would they arrest the house? So what is the offense in hanging the Biafran flag?
What of the hero here? Hero.
And I must say that we must find a way to begin to enjoy this right, start taking advantage of our legal system, and bringing all this over 10 billion naira we waste every year to train our children out of Igbo land back home. But I will conclude by saying that we must work hard to save this language. If the language continues to die at the rate it's going, I know for now. Let's go. I said it. Oh, no, no, you will take it. Take it. And then we surely goodness and mercy shall follow me. How can you pray in Igbo and then we surely goodness and mercy shall follow me? I have asked them in different Pentecostal churches. Surely I will pray. That is the last verse of our Woman 23, which we all learned in the primary school. Next year, if the man they break about so nobody why do you say it in English after praying in Igbo?
It is very, very crucial for us as Nigerians to live in peace and harmony. And I believe that our fathers and the patriarchs and matriarchs of our great nation has really looked into that before they came up with our motto for our coat of arms. But I will add only a personal experience that I had just only recently. I was traveling from a flight from London to Lagos, and I looked around in the cabin. I saw a lot of foreigners around me, and that tells me that something is happening in Nigeria, but only Nigerians cannot see it. And we discovered that even in the years past, when we were taken away on slavery, this is how foreigners came in form of missionaries. We benefited a lot, that's not the issue. But you see, what people see in us, we as Nigerians don't even see the opportunities that are found in this great nation.
In conclusion, by
4th stanza of our former national anthem. It says, though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all are proud to serve our sovereign motherland. I know that many people don't appreciate these two quotes now, but they go way back. One during the war, when we were young, and we were harboring our neighbors who were either Igbos or Hausas. And that was the time when the unity of Nigeria was most important. And the slogan then was, to keep Nigeria one is a task that must be done. And it was done then. Also, with our national anthem, it was something that bound us together as a people. And we all grew up knowing everything across all divides. In fact, I was amazed that we're taking this today because June 12th is also a situation, a time where we had an election that broke all the barriers. It broke the barrier of race. It broke the barrier of religion. And Nigerians came together and voted, and they were with one voice. Also, a situation here in the Senate, where when the issues of unity and development that concerns Nigeria comes to the fore, we all jettison everything racial, everything ethnic, and we come to the table and work for Nigeria. I believe that is what Nigeria is about. I believe the God that put us together in his wisdom knew that we needed to work together. Then
I was told about the civil war by my father, who was conscripted into the Nigerian army, and has told us that there is nothing that is more than unity, peace, tranquility, and living harmoniously irrespective of our diversity. The Northeast, the North Central, and the Southwest. Obviously, if we talked about marginalization or even talking about separation or going our different ways, I think the people that ought to now speak about going a different way are the northeastern part of Nigeria, which obviously we were within the southern province. Because as of today, in the United Nations, we are still a custodian, and if we want to go our separate way, no person can tell us no. But we believe that because of the plebiscite of 1959, made us to be part of Nigerians, and we allowed ourselves to be Nigerians, irrespective of our grievances and the marginalization that has been unleashed on the northeastern part of this country. But still, sir, like I said, and I will continue to say, since the invent of democracy in 1999 till date, the northeastern part of this country has not gotten up to 3%. The highest it has gotten was 3% of the infrastructural development in the budgetary allocation. But nevertheless, sir, we have accepted to be Nigerians, irrespective of our diversity. Hate words cannot go take us anywhere. Social medias and it's not even helping matters. We've heard of stories here and there. But the most important thing, to ask ourselves a question, are we truly patriotic as Nigerians? Do we want to be Nigerians first before an individual or collective geopolitical zone? If indeed we are Nigerians, then we must come to the table and allow every segment of this country a sense of belonging, so that these agitations will be kept aside. But we are all here. When it is good, we are Nigerians. When it is not good, then we talk about regional differences. But please and please, for the sake of posterity, let us know that some people have paid for the unity of this country. They have sacrificed innocent blood for us to be where we are today. May we be part of those people that will uphold the unity of this country, so that our children yet unborn will not, continue the good work where we have stopped.
Mr. President, my respected colleagues, perhaps what people don't know is this. The time for people to now get split into different tiny states is gone. It was part of the world history. But now that time is gone. Instead, today, countries are expanding. Countries are trying to expand. Look at China, for example. They have the highest population in the world. But China, you know the history of China and even Hong Kong. The recent history of Hong Kong, how China aggressively decided that they must take over Hong Kong from the British rule. And of course, you know the history between China and Taiwan, the one China policy. In spite of that population, huge population, they are number 1 in the world in terms of population. They are number 4 in the world in terms of geographical area. Nigeria is just number 7 in the world population. Number 7, we are number 7. And when you talk about geographical area, we are number 32. So why are we talking about splitting? Somebody saying that I want to be on my own. Somebody saying you must go on your own. Please take it easy. Our youth, please take it easy. Our elders, please take it easy. I think we are better together. Thank you for the opportunity.
My distinguished colleagues, the Igbo have a saying I will say it in Igbo and then I will interpret it. Na ihe mere ji enwe oke mmadụ woo ụmụntakịrị ama gata ada boyebe. What it says here is this, that the reason that you have elders is so that children don't go and eat betel and call it weevil. Because it is only the elder that will tell the child, this one is not edible, it's a betel. This one is a weevil, because they all look alike. The reason why we are here as senators is that we are elders of this country, and we should tell our children which one is a betel and which one is a weevil. That is a word for the wise.